We're now joined by Ryan Rishaug, and Ryan, Darnell Nurse has spent his entire 12-year career with the Oilers. So what can you tell us about this request?
Well, I would think that this would be a mutual situation, right? It's no secret that the Oilers were looking to potentially move Darnell Nurse. They wanted to handle it respectfully. He's got that no trade. But I think, they've probably checked in with him here and there on his willingness to accept a move. And, it comes out that Darnell Nurse has, in fact, requested a trade. So I would say
Shocking
that
news
this
is
would
sending waves through the hockey world, and Edmonton Oilers fans are still trying to process what just happened. A player many believed would spend his entire career in Edmonton is suddenly at the center of one of the biggest NHL stories of the offseason. As new details continue to emerge, the truth behind the situation is becoming even more surprising, and the biggest impact may not be known yet. The Edmonton Oilers entered this offseason facing important questions. After another season that ended short of championship expectations, fans knew changes could be coming. The team has one of the most talented rosters in hockey, but once again, the ultimate goal remained out of reach. Many supporters expected adjustments, but very few expected a story involving one of the organization's longest-serving players. That changed when reports surfaced that Darnell Nurse had requested a trade from the Edmonton Oilers. The news spread quickly across the NHL and immediately became one of the most talked about stories in hockey. For many fans, the report came completely out of nowhere. Nurse has been a major part of the franchise for years, making the situation difficult for many supporters to understand. Darnell Nurse is more than just a defenseman. He has spent his entire NHL career in Edmonton. He grew from a young prospect into a veteran leader and became one of the most recognizable faces in the organization. Through successful seasons and difficult seasons, Nurse remained a key part of the Oilers' identity. That long history is one reason this story has created such a strong reaction. Many fans believe Nurse would finish his career wearing an Oilers jersey. Over the years, he built strong relationships with teammates, coaches, and fans. His commitment to the organization helped make him one of the most respected players on the roster. That is why reports of a trade request shocked so many people throughout the hockey community. As more information became available, another important detail gained attention. Reports indicated that Nurse had submitted a list of preferred destinations. This suggested that the situation was serious and that he may be interested in pursuing a new opportunity elsewhere. Suddenly, what started as a surprising report became a major storyline that raised even more questions. One of the biggest questions involves why this happened. At this time, there has been no confirmed public explanation from Nurse detailing every reason behind the reported request. Because of that, fans and analysts have been discussing several possible factors. One possibility is the disappointment surrounding the team's recent playoff result. The Oilers entered the season with hopes of making a deep playoff run. Expectations were high because of the talent on the roster. When a team with championship goals falls short, frustration can naturally grow. Players invest months of hard work into the season, and disappointment can affect everyone differently. Some observers believe this may have played a role in the situation. Right now, there is no indication that McDavid is connected to Nurse's reported decision. No reports suggest his involvement in the situation. Still, fans continue discussing what this could mean for Edmonton's future. The Oilers are under pressure to compete for a Stanley Cup, and any major roster decision becomes part of that larger conversation. Another important angle involves the salary cap. Nurse carries one of the largest contracts on the team's roster. If a trade were eventually completed, Edmonton could gain valuable financial flexibility. That flexibility might allow management to make changes in other areas of the team and address important needs heading into future seasons. Because of this, reactions among fans have been mixed. Some supporters are disappointed and saddened by the possibility of losing a longtime leader. Others believe a major move could create opportunities for the organization to improve. Both sides understand that Nurse has played an important role for the team, but opinions differ on what should happen next. The emotional side of the story cannot be ignored. Fans have watched Nurse grow as a player for many years. They celebrated victories with him and endured difficult moments alongside him. Seeing a player with that kind of history potentially leave the franchise creates strong emotions. For many supporters, this story feels personal. At the same time, hockey remains a business. Teams constantly evaluate ways to improve. Players sometimes seek fresh starts, and organizations sometimes make difficult decisions. These situations are never easy, especially when they involve respected veterans who have spent years helping build a franchise. What makes this story so fascinating is the uncertainty surrounding what comes next. The trade request may have been reported, but many important questions remain unanswered. Will the Oilers find a trade partner? Will Nurse ultimately move to another team? Could circumstances change in the weeks ahead? Nobody knows for sure. That uncertainty has kept fans glued to every update. Every new report creates fresh discussion. Every rumor sparks new debates. Across Edmonton and throughout the NHL, people are watching closely to see how the situation develops. It has become one of the defining stories of the offseason. For the Oilers, the coming weeks could be very important. Management must balance short-term goals with long-term plans. The team still wants to compete at the highest level, and every decision will be made with that objective in mind. Whether Nurse stays or eventually moves on, the outcome could influence the future direction of the franchise. For now, one thing is clear. A player who spent his entire NHL career in Edmonton is suddenly at the center of a story that nobody expected. The report has shocked fans, created endless discussion, and raised major questions about what comes next. And until those answers arrive, the hockey world will continue watching every development closely. Shocking rumors have been spreading across the hockey world, and many Toronto Maple Leafs fans were left stunned. Social media exploded, wild theories started flying, and people began wondering if something huge was happening behind the scenes. But as new information started coming out, the story became even more surprising. And what insiders are now saying could completely change how fans view the future of this franchise.
Last word, you hadn't had a chance to meet face-to-face with Austin just yet. Yeah. What's the intention there? Is there a timeline? Is there an intention to go meet with him? And what would you like to hear from him? Or what have you heard from him that's encouraging for you at this point?
Yeah, I'm encouraged. We've had a lot of great discussions, and honestly, I saw a happy captain that is very, a lot of pride in being the captain of Toronto Maple Leafs.
For Toronto Maple Leafs fans, the last few weeks have been full of questions. The team once again fell short of its ultimate goal, and disappointment spread throughout the fan base. Whenever a talented team fails to meet expectations, people begin looking for answers. This time, many fans started wondering if the organization would make a huge move involving its biggest star, Auston Matthews. Matthews is not just another player. He is the captain of the Maple Leafs and one of the best goal scorers in the entire NHL. Over the years, he has become the face of the franchise. Because of that, any rumor connected to his future quickly grabs attention. As soon as discussions about major roster changes started appearing online, some fans feared that Matthews could somehow become part of a blockbuster trade. The rumors became even louder because Toronto recently entered a new chapter under general manager John Chayka. Whenever a new general manager takes control of a team, people expect changes. Fans begin asking difficult questions. Will the new GM keep the same core players? Will he start a rebuild? Will he trade a superstar to create a new direction? These questions created the perfect environment for speculation. As the rumors spread, many fans became nervous. Some believed the Maple Leafs needed a dramatic change after years of playoff frustration. Others argued that trading a player like Matthews would be a huge mistake. The debate quickly divided the fan base. Social media was filled with opinions, predictions, and emotional reactions. Every new report seemed to create even more uncertainty. This news brought relief to many fans. For years, Matthews has been one of the most dangerous offensive players in hockey. Players with his skill level are extremely difficult to replace. That is why many people around the league never believed a trade was realistic. While fans were worried about rumors, insiders were seeing a different picture. They saw a team that still wanted to win, with Matthews leading the way. The reports also gave fans a better understanding of John Chayka's possible vision for the organization. Since arriving as general manager, Chayka has been under pressure to improve a team that has struggled to turn regular season success into playoff success. Fans wanted answers, and many expected major changes. But major changes do not always mean trading your biggest star. Sometimes, the smarter move is changing the pieces around him. That appears to be the direction Toronto is taking. Instead of tearing everything down, the Maple Leafs seem focused on retooling the roster. Retooling means keeping the core of the team together while making adjustments in other areas. It allows a franchise to remain competitive while trying to fix the problems that have held it back. For Toronto, that can mean changes to coaching, player depth, defensive structure, or overall team strategy. The coaching situation has become another major part of the conversation. With the organization continuing its search for the right coach, many fans believe the next hire could have a huge impact on the future of the franchise. If the right coach is brought in, Toronto may believe it can finally take the next step in the playoffs. That possibility makes keeping Matthews even more important. Still, not every fan agrees. Some supporters believe years of playoff disappointment prove that bigger changes are needed. They argue that something dramatic must happen for the team to move forward. Others strongly disagree and believe Matthews gives the Maple Leafs their best chance to win a Stanley Cup. This debate will likely continue throughout the offseason. What is clear right now is that the fear surrounding an Auston Matthews trade appears to have cooled down. The latest reports suggest Toronto is not looking to move its captain. Instead, the organization seems focused on building around him and finding ways to finally break through when the games matter most. And that may be the biggest takeaway from this entire story. While fans were focused on trade rumors, the real story may have been happening behind the scenes. John Chayka could be working on a completely different plan for the Maple Leafs. The question now is whether that plan will finally bring the success Toronto fans have been waiting for.
The NHLPA has told the NHL they want to go through with an investigation into Mike Babcock before he can be hired by the Edmonton Oilers. We get the latest Wednesday from our hockey insider Pierre LeBrun. The NHL is moving ahead with its investigation on Mike Babcock and events in Columbus. Darren Dreger adds this: there's no timeline on how quickly this can be carried out. The Oilers are aware of this. Players involved, etc. in 2023 will have to be interviewed. If Babcock were to back out at this stage, a league source says there would be no reason to investigate.
Everything looked finished. The Edmonton Oilers appeared ready to make a major move that could change the future of the franchise. Then, without warning, a new development stopped everyone in their tracks. Suddenly, fans, players, and hockey insiders were all talking about the same thing. What seemed like a simple coaching search has now turned into one of the biggest NHL stories of the offseason. The Edmonton Oilers entered this offseason with one clear goal. They needed to find the right coach to help the team take the next step. After another disappointing end to their season, there was pressure on the organization to make a strong decision. For a while, it looked like the Oilers had found their answer. Reports began linking the team to veteran coach Mike Babcock, a name that hockey fans know very well. Mike Babcock has one of the most successful coaching resumes in NHL history. He won a Stanley Cup with the Detroit Red Wings and spent many years coaching some of the league's biggest stars. His experience, leadership, and history of winning made him an attractive option for a team that wants to compete for a championship right now. For many Oilers fans, the idea made sense. The team has elite talent, and bringing in an experienced coach seemed like a logical move. But then, the story took an unexpected turn. As reports about Edmonton's interest in Babcock continued to spread, the NHL Players Association stepped into the spotlight. Instead of simply allowing the hiring process to move forward, the union reportedly called for a review of Babcock's past controversies before any final decision could be made. Suddenly, what looked like a routine coaching search became one of the biggest stories in hockey. The reason goes back to events that happened during Babcock's short time with the Columbus Blue Jackets. In 2023, concerns were raised by players regarding interactions involving personal phone photos. The situation quickly became a major topic across the league. Soon after, Babcock resigned from his position before coaching a regular season game for Columbus. Even though several years have passed, that controversy has never completely disappeared. The Oilers are not a team that can afford to waste time. They have two of the best players in the world, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Every season that ends without a Stanley Cup creates more pressure on the organization. Fans want results, management wants results, and most importantly, the players want results. That is why this coaching search matters so much. When a team is trying to win a championship, every decision is important. The head coach sets the culture, manages the locker room, and helps guide the team through difficult moments. If the Oilers choose the wrong coach, it could have serious consequences. But if they find the right coach, it could help push the team closer to the championship they have been chasing for years. The NHLPA's reported request for a review has now added another layer of uncertainty. Instead of focusing only on hockey decisions, the conversation has shifted toward trust, leadership, and player relationships. Around the league, many fans and analysts are debating whether bringing Babcock back would be worth the risk. Some supporters believe his experience could be exactly what Edmonton needs. They point to his winning history and his ability to manage talented teams. They argue that successful coaches are difficult to find and that the Oilers should focus on results. Others see the situation very differently. They believe that modern NHL locker rooms require strong communication and strong relationships between coaches and players. For them, any concerns raised by players deserve serious attention. That is one reason why the NHLPA's involvement has become such a major talking point. As the debate continues, Oilers fans have found themselves split into different groups. Some want the organization to move forward with Babcock. Others want Edmonton to look elsewhere and avoid the controversy altogether. No matter which side fans support, one thing is clear. This story is no longer just about hiring a coach. It is about the direction of the entire franchise. For now, many questions remain unanswered. Will the Oilers continue pursuing Mike Babcock? Will concerns from the past affect the final decision? And how will players inside the organization view whatever choice management ultimately makes? The answers could shape Edmonton's future for years to come. What seemed like a simple coaching search has turned into one of the biggest offseason stories in hockey. The spotlight is now firmly on the Oilers, and every move they make will be watched closely. The next decision could bring stability, create more controversy, or completely change the path of the franchise. And until that decision arrives, the uncertainty surrounding Edmonton's coaching search is only getting bigger.
And when you give Mitch Marner of the world and Eichel all that much time, they're going to make you pay, and they did in the second period.
My goodness, Mitchie Marner magic. That's it, Leaves. Let's go to break.
That's the comment.
Let's go to break.
That's
I'm done.
It's the fastest hat trick in Stanley Cup final history. Marner gets the hat trick in 6 minutes and 10 seconds.
Amazing.
In the Stanley Cup final.
Unbelievable, actually. One of the greatest performances, one of the greatest periods in Stanley Cup final history for sure. But you can't give Marner that much time. He had ice all over. I don't know what happened to Carolina.
A performance so incredible just changed the way hockey fans look at Mitch Marner forever. Records fell, history was made, and one superstar delivered when the pressure was at its highest. What happened on the biggest stage in hockey has everyone talking, and the full impact of this historic night is only starting to be understood. Mitch Marner has always been known as one of the most talented players in the NHL. Fans have praised his skill, vision, and ability to create big plays. But in Stanley Cup Final Game 3, Marner did something far bigger than score goals. He delivered a historic performance that may become one of the defining moments of his entire career. On the biggest stage in hockey, with millions of fans watching, Marner stepped onto the ice carrying high expectations. The Stanley Cup Final is where careers are remembered. It is where legends are created. Every shift matters. Every mistake is noticed. Every great moment becomes part of hockey history. And on this night, Mitch Marner gave fans a moment they may never forget. For years, Marner has been one of the NHL's most productive players. He has collected points, helped his teams win games, and earned the respect of teammates and opponents throughout the league. But like many star players, he has also faced criticism. Some people wondered if he could deliver his very best when the pressure reached its highest level. Those questions became louder every time the playoffs arrived. Fans wanted to see Marner take over games. They wanted to see him dominate on the sport's biggest stage. They wanted to see the type of performance that would instantly become part of NHL history. That is exactly what happened. From the beginning of Game 3, Marner looked different. His confidence was obvious. His energy was high. Every time he touched the puck, it felt like something exciting might happen. Opposing defenders struggled to contain him, and his teammates seemed to feed off the energy he brought to the ice. Then came the moment that changed everything. Marner completed a historic hat trick and officially set a new Stanley Cup final record. His 3 goals came faster than any hat trick ever recorded in Stanley Cup final history. Think about how incredible that is. Generations of hockey legends have played in the final. Hall of Fame players have competed on this stage. Yet, it was Mitch Marner who found a way to accomplish something nobody else had ever done. That achievement immediately captured the attention of the hockey world. Fans flooded social media with reactions.